Good.
Should go to the cafeteria? That's where I thought it was. I didn't check it this morning.
Everyone here, we think?
We're still
Missing one? Okay.
I know. She's really good. Okay.
She's getting sub pay and we're hiding the meeting. Is this right?
I had it on my kids, I was ready, and then they see it. I didn't think I have
Good, good, good. Thank you for finding her.
Don't feel bad. I didn't know where we were.
Ah.
Is that Elliot?
Well, good morning, everybody. Let's get up and have some fun. Can you hear me? I'll turn this down. Woo! I thought that would wake everybody up. How are you doing this morning? Good. Are you ready to get your teams on? Whether you're ready or not, we're going to roll. Hey, let me introduce myself first. I'm Corinne. Everyone say, hey, Corinne.
Hey, Corinne.
Thanks. Corinne Hoisington. I'm one of you. I'm a teacher in Virginia. So I just drove up here yesterday. I have not been on a plane. I have been socially distancing. And I'm here to help you guys use Teams. We've been using Teams for almost a year and a half in our K-12 school district. And it's really worked well for us. We're in the same situation as you are. We have some of our students who are choosing to be at home during this time. We get it. But we're also in the situation that we're ready to go remote if needed. Make sense? So we want to be prepared. When March came, we had no idea what just happened. I mean, we were in emergency response. Is that not right? We were just trying to do the best we could get by. So we want to be prepared no matter what. And my thought is, no matter what happens, we'll be a better teacher because we'll know more options to connect with every student. Now this session is going to be based if you're teaching kindergarten, first or second grade. I work with those teachers all the time. In fact, I not only work here, but I work with Microsoft Kenya, and Microsoft Canada with their kindergarten, grade 1, and grade 2 program all over the world. So let's get rolling. Everybody, hey, who? What's the name if you need me? We are recording it today as well, just in case someone misses it or you want to rewatch it. I write a lot of books. What I'm most proud of is I'm the mother of 6 children and now 6 grandchildren. So they have been, these wee ones right here have been at our house quite a bit because their mama is a mother baby charge nurse, and it's been really busy at all of our hospitals, as you would suspect. So that's my world. We've all been working from home until now. This is my one granddaughter. She actually is more efficient working at home than I am. But we're all doing our absolute best as we go. Let me start with this as we head into teams. When I ever teach a remote class at any grade level, I always put this up in Teams and in my presentation to remind students that even if we don't see each other face to face, we need to create a climate that we respect, we lift each other up, we're always home. So I'm going to be sharing this graphic with Amy if you guys want to throw it in all of your courses. Let's read this with me real quick, and here's what I do at the beginning of every remote class. 1, 2, 3. In our classroom, we respect each other, we try our best, we are a team. By the way, what software are we using? Team. There we go. We learn from mistakes. Raise your hand if you make a lot of them. I'm going to put both hands up. We create, we celebrate each other's successes. The reason this is even more important in a remote setting is sometimes children seem to say things that they probably wouldn't say face to face. And adults do it too. Have you seen social media? Some of my dearest friends, sometimes what they post, I'm like, ooh, would you really say that to someone? So let's remember this. So today we're not only going to talk about teams, but some of the best practices in which to use it. Make sense? So let's move on because we've got so much cool stuff. I want to start here. This is a picture of Dubai. Yeah, Dubai, like in Arab Emirates. This is their kindergarten class in April. They went online. Finally in April, they were able to connect. This is Miss Taz. I was working with her online. I covered up the children's faces for obvious reasons. We first put the parents on first each day. In kindergarten, first grade, and second grade, if that was at all possible. Why? The parents, once they go online, need to understand what's happening. They need that connection. They need that direction. Some more than others. Make sense? So the parents had just gotten on for the first time before their children. As soon as the children came into teams, they all looked around each other. They had not seen each other in over a month. And suddenly, first time ever, they started to cry. Now, I'm hanging off on the end going, children crying. Not what I had planned for. Why were they crying, everyone? They were so excited to see each other. Don't forget, school is not just about content, but it's about community connections. So we want to make sure that if we need to move online fully, that we still create a community of connections. And Ms. Taz and all those students work together with the parents because we're all team members in it. So let's remember those pieces. So there's a new term in education, and then we'll get started here. It's called digital learning. Say that word. Digital learning. Digital learning means it's the combination of teaching students physical and digital. And even in an active classroom, we can use digital really to connect with students. So the newest term out there in 2020, with all the other terms that we've learned this year, right, is digital learning. Let's do the right pedagogy that transitions to any type of learning, if we have the right style. Okay, let's talk about teams. Schools all over the country, we used to have a class like this. We probably are going to see more of this But how can we do it best in this remote environment? But before we get started, we've got to talk real quick about the digital divide. Not every student will have the same bandwidth. They won't have the same structure at home to assist them. So flexibility is going to be rule and key here, correct? So just to help them in that setting as much as we can. What we actually put out in our community was out in front of our schools, in front of our libraries, we have put outside internet so that if the parent can't get connectivity, they can download the work even there. So that will be important. So we're going to open Teams first. I want to see if we can get it on everybody's computer at home. So everybody, we're going to work together. Everybody look at the person next to you and say 2 words, help me. Do it.
Help me.
Some of you are not lions. Open Teams on your computer. The easiest way is typically to go to office.com or your portal for Office. And you should see the big T. And I have up one of my classes, grade 1, Miss Roberts, with all the cool things that we're teaching. So first thing, everybody look at your neighbor's computer and give me a thumbs up if they have Teams open. Can I help anybody so far?
Are you talking about like the portal, not the software that's installed?
You can do either one. We're going to talk that through. Yeah. So when we talk about Teams, there's actually 3 ways to view it. There is one way is to go through your portal, you know, the Office portal that you use. Click the purple T. You head to Teams, and that's in your browser. It works, by the way, whether the parents have a PC, a Mac, a Chromebook. They can all use this and get to Teams by going through the Office portal, so they can connect with you. But they don't have to know a website. They're just going to get a simple link to join you in that environment. The other way is you can download the Teams app to your, I think you have Surface Pros. And the Surface Pro, I personally like to sometimes install it. It doesn't take as much connectivity to keep it going. If bandwidth is a problem at your house, and a lot of us do. I live in a rural area of Virginia, I get it. My hamster runs slow on the internet wheel. Download Teams to your computer, it runs a little bit smoother. The third way is you can download a free Teams app on your cell phones. Android, iPhone. You say, could I actually run a class through that? Yes, but you won't be able to share your screen and do some of the things that you thought you might do. But please understand, some of our students who may be in the community, that might be the only option based on their setting. It could be a babysitter's, whatever, that they might end up seeing the connection. So far, so good? Hey, let me show you around this screen so we can all call it the same thing. This purple bar, everybody seeing the purple bar on the left? Is called the me side, M-E. What's that purple bar called, everybody?
Me side.
Okay, why is it me? This is my activity, my chats with other people, my teams or classes, my assignments, my calendar. You may not have as many items as I have, but these are all your things. So this other part, from here all the way over, this is called the we side. What is it called? W-E. It's hard with the math, sorry. So you have your me side, your we side. This is where we all work together as a class. This is our group event. So let's start over real quick with this me side. If you click on activity, a lot of you haven't used it yet, so you're not seeing much activity.
but you would see any of your chats, your conversations. You can click on chat. And let me just show you how to use chat real quick. Everyone, we're clicking on the second item on the left called chat. I told everyone to find a partner. Okay? So everyone knows who your partner is? We're going to chat real quick with our partner here in just a moment. So first, we can chat and talk to someone that we want to mention. So let me show you how to do that. I want you to come in your chat down here at the bottom. Do you see where it says type a new message?
Mine just has a plus sign. Is that?
That's okay. It's your first time using it, maybe.
Okay.
Right down there? Oh, I don't know why it has a plus sign. Maybe we type plus sign. You sure they don't have it? Let me poke around.
Of my chat.
That's okay.
Where it says, it has a little like a pencil. Oh, right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Close it.
Yes. Yes, I believe so.
This was old with Raymond Girls, so how will I count the new person? I take their
Is it? Okay. How do you hit send? Is that one thing?
But if I start changing, it's not going to be the random.
Okay, let me show you how to connect with your partner. Now, because every student and every teacher is in this system, we can connect with them. At the top, do you see there's a search line at the top? Have you seen the magnifying glass? I want you to type the first few letters of your partner's name. Got it? First few letters in the search line at the top. Do you see them popping up? We're typing up in the top bar. So, for example, if my partner was Amy, I would type in Amy's name, and you should see them pop up. When they pop up, tap their name. So type the beginning of your name. There may be several people with that same name. And now, once you have tapped that name, I want you just to type a good morning, something along those lines, message at the bottom. And let me know if they get it. So even throughout the school, this is a great way to quickly communicate if they have their teams open.
Maybe this. I thought you said.
Now, let's have a little fun with this messaging. So, by the way, no one else can see this besides you and your partner.
So look down here under the message, and this is going to be true in all the team spaces. Do you see things like a capital A and a paintbrush? Click there. If you wanted, bigger font, size, color, all those cool things, great. If you keep going across, of course, the paperclip means what? Yeah, you can put any kind of file. Let's say you have 2 second grade teachers and they want to share files with each other. Hey, I have this great worksheet. I've got this great activity. Let me pop it over to you. And this is a little bit better than email because email you end up digging through later. If you use Teams efficiently just within the school, they say you can cut down email by 40%. And I don't know about you, but I'm all for that. So you can send files. Everybody find the little emoji happy face. Let's click on our little emoji happy face. There's all the standards, but they're searchable. I want you to type in happy. And what comes up? Hopefully a happy face. Let's type in tired. Oh, no tired, right? Okay, so you can search these a little bit. Let's go over to, GIF right here. These, I want you to type in the word praise. You want to praise something. A little different praise than you might think, right? There's a better one for that in a second. So you can have a little fun here. The one I really like for kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade is right after GIF. It's called stickers. And our kids love stickers. So this way you can mention them by name and give them stickers in this environment. They did a good job. They helped one another. They were a good teammate. Hey, let's keep on going. This one right here schedules a meeting, but this is not my favorite place to do this. But there's like 4 other places you can schedule a meeting, so we'll get back to that. Notice this one right here. It kind of looks like a paper airplane. Y'all seen that one? Let me give an example of this. Let's say we go along and we meet with our students at 9 a.m. on a Monday. Please understand that not every student will always be able to join you at 9 a.m. on Monday, right? What other things can happen? Tell me. Internet goes down? They overslept? Or their parents overslept? They're sick?
Sibling on the computer.
Sibling needs the same computer, or mom needs the same computer, or auntie, or they're at a daycare setting that's just not possible. So everything should, if possible, be recorded, and I'll show you how to do that, so they can watch it at another time. And there is a FERPA law that states that if you record your class, you can't share that class with another one, because your community is okay for each other. So for example, I teach a high school class. I have 2 sections. I can't use this recording for that if it shows faces of that student in that class. Does that make sense? So it has to be within that community, but if you're just doing a general recording, you can share it with anyone if it's not including any other student faces, if you would. So this is called Microsoft Stream. Go ahead and click there. So once we start saving recordings, this is how to pop them in. So let's say we have a substitute teacher who will be joining us. That we could share that recording with that substitute, so maybe she knows what to do in that class, or it could just be a long video telling the substitute, please try to do this. I want these things mentioned. Maybe you could do a little mini lesson for them so they feel a lot more equipped to do a great job in that day. So this, you would find, we'll show you where to get these links from, but anytime you record a meeting, it's automatically going to send you an email with that link to paste in here to send to anyone you want the recording.
So anytime you meet online with students and someone can't come, keep going back. Even if everyone comes, I still record it. Why? If everyone comes,
They could go back and reference it.
they can go back and reference it. Our mom may watch it, so you figure out how are we adding nowadays? So all those kinds of pieces. Okay, what else down here? Everybody look at this light bulb. Love the light bulb. I want you, this is called the praise button.
We don't have the light bulb.
Oh, I'll show you where to get it. Okay, so look at the 3 dots. Let me show you where that's at. Everybody look up this way. There are 3 dots over here. Anytime you see 3 dots, dot, 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 or we really call it ellipsis. But anytime you click 3 dots, there's something really cool behind you. Everybody click on those 3 dots. What are you seeing behind there? Lots of stuff, right? We'll have to get praise sooner or later on here. Click on more apps. Let's see if we can find the praise one real quick. We can customize any of these to what we need here. We'll get Amy to, I'll show her how to put the praise on there. So lots of cool things to do here. Now that we know how to chat, I want you now to head down to the Teams button. On the left, Teams button. This is on, what's that bar called? Me, or my bar. Now, let's go over what a team is. The team is most likely your class. Or if you are a special needs teacher, you might have several classes that you're added into, or you might have your own environment that's for each of your smaller pods of students. Make sense? A team can also be an environment where you have teachers in all of grade 2 that work together and share thoughts. So it could be a professional. It can also be a club. We don't have too many clubs in kindergarten, 1st grade, and 2nd grade that are older groups. It can also be a sports team. So we're going to create a sample team today. The reason I don't want you to create your real one yet is we're just going to play around in this, and then we can delete it if you don't want to use it again. If you already have your classes made, great. Still create this sample team with us today so that you can play and not affect anything long term. Make sense? So everybody, we're going to create a class. So when we click on Teams on the left, I want you to look over here on the top right. It says join or create a team. Do you all see something like that? So we're going to do that. And let's click join or create a team. You say, how many teams can I have? Unlimited, but you wouldn't want that many. So now when you get here, we're going to create this team with a purple button. Let's second step. Could everybody look over to your neighbor and make sure they have this screen open? I don't want to lose anyone right now. Okay. Is your partner spot on? Right. Let me just quickly explain the differences. For 99% of our classes, this is what we want. This is where there is a teacher who is in charge of everything, or co-teachers, or substitute, and everyone else is a student, and they don't have the same rights. The difference is, if I'm meeting with my class online, the teacher can remove a student, can privately talk to everybody, do all the teacher things. But a student won't be able to, well, I don't like you, want you removed. They can't do that. They can't even, we've set it up with Miss Amy, we decided that students should be able to talk to each other privately because sadly, what might occur? Bullying. So that's how the structure is laid out.
This is the one we want, but let me just quickly mention this just in case. This is if you have a professional learning. Let's say a group of you is learning Flipgrid, and you've been practicing with this and you want to have a professional learning. This is where everyone's kind of equal. This is not a classroom. Staff, your administration throughout school may want to hold, if you go completely online, faculty meetings in this fashion. Everyone is equal again. And then this is for your clubs, study groups, after school. This allows students to create channels and all that because they're like being the president of the FBLA club. So we're going to stick with this one. So everybody right now, we're going to create our demo class. Go ahead and click that one. And just to make sure, let's put your name, and we're going to put practice class. So that way you'll know later, this isn't the real one. And you can delete this after today, but you may want to use it as reference to look at how did you do that. Okay? Typically, you might have a description. You may want to say this is our English or math or social studies or something if that were broken out. And go ahead and click next. Now, I understand that you're, based on your roster that they've given you, you're going to be adding your students into the class. Today, what we're going to do is just add your partner today as being a student. So what we're going to do if we search for students, everybody just type in a common name like Jacob. Does everyone see lots of Jacobs?
No.
No? You're not seeing Jacobs? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I know I'm sometimes I'm like,
Do you see lots of Jacobs? Hey, best practice. Don't add the wrong student to your class. But that's easy to do with names like Jacob Jones or something common like that. I actually grew up in Miami, Florida, and our common name was Rodriguez. We had like 20 in our class. So, in our preschool. But, so be careful. Look at their middle initial or what's listed there to help you. Student ID, double check that student ID to match your roster. Even the most unique name, there could be two of them. So we're not going to add any of these people called students because we don't want to mess with our rosters today. Let's go over here and click on teachers and find your partner. We're going to add them as a teacher. Are they listed? So you're now going to basically be a co-teacher in this class. We can't add them as a student because they're really not a student. Now, at any point in time, later, I'll show you how to add students who get signed up later or add throughout the school year. Of course, we can also delete them throughout the school year. But may I again give you best practice? The day a student is moved to another school, leave them in for a little bit longer because there might be grades or something that you thought they had and now they don't. Once they're deleted, they're pretty much gone. So keep them there just for a little bit longer just to see if they need anything else. Got it? Now that we have these folks in here, the button at the bottom that you're seeing right now should say close. And it would be okay if you have a co-teacher that you work together with a little bit
if you both became a co-teacher in their class, even if it's just viewing it for ideas or working together. So that won't hurt anything. Okay, let me show you how we can add students later or add co-teachers later. So this is called the general class. You see the word general? And anything posted in this area will typically be able to be seen by all students. This is where announcements could go, something you want everyone to see. So please, 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 privacy, make sure you don't admonish a student in this area. You wouldn't want to say, come on, stop doing that. Everyone's seeing it. Make sure we'll show you how to do that privately and talk to them. So in this area, do you see next to your practice class right here, we just have this one general, we call it a general channel. So click these 3 dots. Remember, behind 3 dots, there's really cool things. Click these 3 dots. We're going to go under the first option. It's called Manage Team. Is everyone seeing it? So click on Manage Team. This is where you'll see all of your students listed down here once you get some. And this is the button. Let's go ahead and click on it. You see Add Member? This is where you can add more students, more teachers. Make sense? So it's not only going to be that first day of class. We're seeing a lot of families, because of unemployment, move about a little more than we used to. So you're going to see a little bit more movement in your community typically. Okay, go ahead and hit close there. I now want you to go under the Settings tab. Let me show you where it is. We're still under the 3 dots, Manage Team. We're now going to Settings. You see this? Same as mine? Do you see Team Theme? Look how boring my class looks. MH for Miss Hoisington. That's boring. So let's change the theme, and let me give you an idea as we head here. What I've done in our younger grades is I asked some of the students if they would draw art some way, and we could upload it as a weekly theme to kind of highlight their beautiful art. So this could not only be one of the standard ones, but you can upload images to be here. So let me show you how to do that. Let's all click where it says Team Theme on the left. And do you see underneath that, after we click Team Theme, Change Theme? Let's go ahead and pick a nice looking theme for our primary class. It does show you what grade levels. You don't have to go by that. But these, as you would see, are some great pictures that we might want to pick for our class. But look right here. What does this upload mean, do you think? You can put your own. And some teachers have actually taken, some of you have seen these Bitmoji classrooms and all this cool stuff. They will do something in Bitmoji and put it here. So very cool. So however you want to roll with that. Everybody pick one. Show your neighbor which one you picked. Click Update after you select yours. They look beautiful. Now, I want you, let's put something here like welcome to first grade or whatever grade you are. We're putting this message, and I want to show you what I think is going to be your most important piece of this. It's called the Immersive Reader. So everyone type something like, welcome to first grade, lovely to have you. Don't forget this is still all fake, so you don't have to spend a lot of time writing it. Hit enter. Now, one of the challenges that we all run into
is a lot of our younger students, of course, do not read yet. Hello. And we don't want their parents have to do every reading. So in these weeks, I would encourage you to show your students how to get to something called the Immersive Reader. And the Immersive Reader isn't just in Teams, it's in Word, it's everywhere. In our webinar series, we're going to be meeting in October and November for an hour at that time. I'm going to show you other tools that work inside of Teams, like Pear Deck and Flipgrid that are free, that also have, guess what, this Immersive Reader. Even if you have a strong reader, let's say in second grade, their reading comprehension goes up by using this. So I'm going to type a more interesting sentence to use it with. I want you to type in, let's put in, eat 5 servings of vegetables and fruits. I'm reading up that up there. There's a reason I want this. So let's say we're telling your students to eat 5 servings of vegetables and fruits each day. Let me now show you how that can be viewed in this Immersive Reader. Everybody click after you hit enter on this message, click back on it. Does everybody get these little emojis? But 3 dots, dot, 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 right here. Let me just, so I don't lose anybody, we typed in, eat 5 servings of vegetables and fruits. We hit enter, we click back on it. Everybody click on these 3 dots. And near the bottom, do you see the Immersive Reader? I've actually taught my younger kids the symbol. If it's got the big speaker on it, it can read it to you. And we're going to see this pop up a lot of places. So everyone click on Immersive Reader. Your screen should change entirely. Yours will look different than mine. I already got some settings on. Does everybody get like bigger font on a white background so far? Now, let's make sure, I know this can get loud, but could you turn the volume up on your device in the bottom right-hand corner? Pick it up, baby. The first thing we're going to do is have it read to us. But before we do so, right next to the play button is this little settings. Let me go ahead and click settings before we all play it out. What do you think this turtle means?
Reading slow.
For younger students, slow is helpful. Guess what our high school students are going to do? They're going to turn on the hair, but I love that there's images. Some students, do you know that Alexa prefers a male voice? That's so wrong. In other words, if a man talks to that Alexa Google thing, in your house, but hey Alexa, it understands it at about 80% higher rate than a woman voice. If we lower our voice, but for children, if they have their primary caretaker is only female, it would probably be better. If they're only male, it might be easier for them to get used to hearing. Now everybody hit play, let's get it over with. Go.
2020, 8:43 a.m. Eat 5 servings of vegetables and fruits.
What do you guys think of that? Now, put the turtle on. Now, just between us, they sound like a little bit too much of a good weekend. But
That's what I used to
Now, if you're a class, don't be yet. I've got even better stuff to show you. Ready? Everybody, look up in your upper right-hand corner of the Immersive Reader screen. Let's first click on the two A's that are hanging out there. It turns out for low vision students that more contrast between the background and the letters is easier. So everybody pick the theme with a black background, for example. It is easier for low vision students to see this. What about the text size for a low vision student? Yeah, make it bigger. And even for our kindergarten, first grade, second grade, it is easier for them to read with a bigger presence on the screen. Now, you can change font, don't make anything too weird. Let's now go over to the second item. It looks like a bunch of lines and a wand. I call it the Harry Potter button. Everybody find the Harry Potter button? I want you now to turn on your nouns, your verbs. You just slide it over. Your adjectives, your adverbs, and show labels. What's happening? Ah, you see, but my students don't even know what this is. Why not? Let's start. It's always good to expose. But my favorite part is the third item that looks like a book. Do you see the book icon? Top right corner, please click the book. And there's something called line focus. Please know something very important. Microsoft's been studying this in the United States today. We know scientifically that 1 in 5 students have some form of dyslexia, whether they know it or not. Dysgraphia, dyscalculia, we all know what this is. But our students don't. So if you have line focus, go ahead and turn it on. It's that single line. The first one. It does one line at a time. I have a grandson who is 8 and still barely reading. He's on the spectrum. And line focus, he can read. You give him a regular look, he can't. It is shocking, the difference. And then let me have everybody play something. Everybody turn on their picture dictionary. This is so cool. Now click on vegetables. So we're turning on the picture dictionary. Click on vegetables. You got to find vegetables. What happens? What vegetables are you seeing? You not seeing the broccoli? So what do you see for fruits?
Oh, that is so cool. Servings doesn't have to be
They're going to still have, their parents are going to have to go to the center, so it doesn't, that's a great question. Now, please understand that you also have parents that have moved here recently. Maybe they're helping with the farming and all this type of thing. They may not speak English as their first language. Now, the student may better typically than their folks, right? So everyone, we're on that third item over, the book. I now want you to turn this into Spanish. Let's do this. I'm going to Miami. We can switch over at any time. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick Spanish, and then play it, and does it read to the parents in Spanish?
Oh, she thinks different language.
There are, yeah, American, Canadian. I work in Canada, and I know I have to say process, and all these words differently. Turn the document on. Switch the language and flip over the document, and then it will read it to them in their preferred. Would this help parents help you if it were in their natural language? There are 67 languages that are possible, and even more dialects. Okay, thumbs up or thumbs down to the Immersive Reader. Doesn't now this make a little more sense of how we might do this? I even show this to high school because we're back to 1 and 5. The next time you need to read a long document, paste it in here, in your chat. Read it this way. I think you'll find that your comprehension will be increased. And by the way, there's scientific studies that say in many of our children, it's double the comprehension, even if they're not dyslexic. So don't see this as a special needs tool. This is a tool for all that makes reading stronger. Make sense? Any questions about the Immersive Reader? We're going to see it pop up lots of places. Good. And let me just take a moment. I won't go into it. But if you're ever in Word, there is an Immersive Reader right now in Word. Everyone, the word processing system. Just want to show you that at any point in time, we can go under View, and there's that Immersive Reader in Word. It's under the View tab. There is an Immersive Reader in now all Microsoft products. So really powerful. Microsoft has actually hired over 6,000 people with disabilities to create products to help the world around them. So I love that. Okay, now that we understand the Immersive Reader, in your teams, to go ahead and let's get back to there. I want you to go up and now hit this left arrow to get back out of it. A question was asked. It was a very good one earlier. They say, if I make these settings like verbs or French, does this reflect onto the student's classroom? It does not. So here's what I do for my parents. For the parents that are already going to be working with their children at home now, and if you need to go online, I make a short video that they can play over and over and over again of how to get the Immersive Reader to show up for their student to help the parents. Make sense? In fact, I make a beginning parent video for younger students, parents, that says how to get started. Knowledge is power. Most of our parents want to help their children in any form. You haven't given them the tools to do so. Question?
Now, once they set it once, it will stay that way.
On their side, yes.
Okay.
So, are we in a one-to-one school? Is that a bad question to ask? Somewhat.
For the most part, yeah.
So, if you're in a one-to-one, then if we set it up one time in the classroom, then it'll be on their machine in that fashion. So, I don't want to open a can of worms. Okay, next. I now want to have a meeting. In other words, I want to hold a big event and invite my class to it. There's a couple ways to do this. So one way is to schedule a meeting. And for parents, they've got to know about it, so schedule is best. So in our class right here, look up in the top right corner. Do you see a little video camera? So we can come up, let's first hit the down arrow to the right of Meet on our general area. What are our two options? Now, if a parent contacts you through email and says, hey, Ms. Roberts, do you have just a couple minutes this morning to touch base? My child has these questions.
you might want to click Meet Now and then provide them the link. I'll show you that secondarily, and just meet right away. But typically, we're only doing scheduling a meeting. Please, if possible, create a very clear, defined schedule that the parents know when this is going to happen and where they can find the recording. So, we even do it during the schedule, if you're fully remote, include snack time, break time, lunch time. Why? So that the child has a chance to use the restroom, to get up and move. Do some movements in your class where they can move around in front of their computer because they have all this energy. Being strapped down to a desk all day just isn't going to work. So we want to schedule a time. Let's go under Meet and pick Schedule a Meeting. And I'll show you later, but we could have gotten to this exact screen by going to Calendar. So there's a few ways to get to the same place if you've done it that way before. So if you want to tell them what you're learning that day, it could just be, our online class, you call it. It could be a separate one for your different subjects that you do. So we're going to have a reading room for your class. What I do in the younger grades is I read them stories. We talk about them. I first hold up the book before I read it and say, what do you think this book is about? Want them to have that student voice. Read a couple pages and stop and say, what do you think is going to happen next? Get them not just to be listening, but it's a two-way discussion, if possible. So we're going to have that. Do you see add required attendees? So in this case, we don't have many students as of yet, obviously. So I want you to type your same partner in here. You should just be able to type a few letters of their name. And they should start appearing in here. Everybody got a partner? Now, look at the dates. Today, as you know, is the 25th, right? What's date showing up? Yeah, typically. You don't usually plan a meeting for that day because you wouldn't have time to get it out to everybody. So, but we're going to meet today with our partners. So let's back it up. When you click on it, I love that there's a real calendar that I don't have to guess. And we're going to meet, what time is it right now, guys? It is the 26th, sorry. I'm off. So what we can do right here is meet around 9 a.m. And put that in there. This is super important. Do you see where it says does not repeat? I don't want to have to set up different links constantly. So for example, one of my classes of students who are going to be remote this whole semester, we have a group of them, I have just made a permanent meeting time. I'm going to meet at 10 a.m. on Tuesdays until Christmas break, whatever, okay, through December 20-something. That makes it much easier to have this planned time to click a single link. I don't have to go looking for which one. It's all right here. We're going to say does not repeat, but let's take a look at it. If you click it down, do you see some of your options? We're going to meet daily. We're going to meet weekly. We're going to meet monthly, whatever the situation is. And then now you have it in place and you're not constantly trying to schedule. Oh, I've got to get this on the schedule. And where is that? Oh, I forgot to do that. So now we're all set here. Now, when you hit send, does everybody see the purple button on the top right? What's happening now is your partner is asked to come to your meeting. So let me show you where all that's showing up. Did everybody include your partner? Now go look in your activity. Where's activity? Have you been invited? Now let me explain how we're going to do this. We're going to make everybody teacher A and teacher B. Discuss among yourselves. B is not any worse letter. Does everybody know if you're an A or a B right now with your partner?
From Teacher A, raise your hand, Teacher A. Teacher A, you're going to start your meeting first. Why? We don't want 2 meetings. The question may be, can we have 2 meetings? It is possible. But I don't want to go there today. So, I want Teacher A to go to the reading room and go ahead, click the invite. You can look through this now before we hit join. Stop just for a second. Everybody get the invite back open. Do you see this down here? This is your magic link. So I'm doing something that may never happen, but let's say our principal says, I would like to pop into your class, see how everything's rolling, welcome the students, do something like that. A quick and easy way is to copy this link, send it through email. When they click that link, it'll get bigger and allow someone outside the meeting. This is fully encrypted, the meeting. This is important to say after yesterday. Did you see the news? No, Monday morning. Did you all see what happened? Zoom, another platform all over the world, didn't work for 6 hours for a lot of schools their very first day. You may have heard of Zoom bombing. Have you ever heard that term? It means bad people, just make it nicely, will just keep typing codes until they just randomly enter a room and do bad things. Really bad things. This can't happen in this environment. If they don't have this encrypted link, they can't get in, period. So you don't have to worry about anyone just showing up and showing too much. If this were an older class, let me explain something. So if anyone teaches across the curriculum, we are a high school student needs to tell anyone in their home that they are on a meeting through the computer. Why do you think the family should know when it's happening? Let me explain what happened in my class on Monday. I hate this story, but it happened. I have a 16-year-old young man in my class, very polite, very respectful, sitting in front of his computer. Mother didn't realize it and walked by in very little. Behind him, so he didn't realize that it happened at first. That student just wrote me this long, I'm so sorry. It wasn't his fault. Do you see why you should tell the members of your family? How about you as a teacher? Should you tell the members of your family that you're going to be in this environment? Should you lock yourself in a room? I don't know. That's another question. I hate to bring it up, but it happened to me Monday. So the mother even called me. She's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah. But secretly, I can't unsee that. Okay, so Teacher A, we're going to now join the meeting by clicking the purple join. Let me tell you about some buttons you're seeing. This is the button to have your video turned on as you enter. If you're first, that's not a problem. This is if your audio is turned on by default. Now, let's go ahead and hit join now, my A teachers. You will not see in my video because I'm already recording, so you can only have one video option. Let me explain that. If for whatever reason you have a Zoom call going, you can't also do the video on another call. So you can only have video on one thing at a time. So everyone should be seeing yourself on your screen. To do the best display as possible, in my house, I have a little ring light. You know what a ring light is? It's a ring selfie light. Write that down. If you go to Amazon, these little ring selfie lights put light on your face, which is actually softening, but that's not why I do it. It makes it easier for the children to see your facial expressions
and enunciate new words by looking at your lips. So they're like $20 on Amazon. They're called a selfie ring light. I put it on a little soft pink light. I'm of course not young, but that's not the reason. It's easier to see your faces at home. Yes. Oh yeah. Turn your cameras around. You guys see how to do that? Who needs a little help doing that? Yours is better. Yeah, don't turn the ring.
I know, it's like, oh.
Now yours is perfect.
In the far right, there's a device to switch your camera's direction. Surfaces have a front camera and a back camera. Sooner or later, you're going to accidentally hit that flip button. So everybody look where that flip is once you start.
Oh, right there.
Now, everyone for the moment, could you mute yourself on your video? Mute. Microphone. Everybody go ahead and click this microphone because we're going to get feedback. Right there? Good, thank you. Now, before we join our partners in crime, I want to also explain how to get the best image with your face. You want your eyes in the upper 1/3. This is the frame. How do I finish my frame? There we go. Eyes right there. Not down here. What happens if your eyes are too low? They're not seeing any of the expression, and for young students, pronunciation is very important. Okay, now, partners, partner teacher meetings. I want you to click that same link and join them inside the room.
Yep.
How many galaxies?
There you are.
And you have an internet issue here. Disconnect everything. Turn off your microphones, please. Now, has your partner joined you?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we are. I think our job is listening to our mind, That's what I did before.
Yeah, you joined them.
So what I'm saying is
That's where
how do I get some money?
Oh, but I could that.
I'm disconnected and reconnected twice.
Okay. Everybody, we're going to go out of the meeting. I want to show you now the calendar so we can go back in the meeting. The calendar is a little bit easier. So everybody stop your meeting by hanging up. We want to make sure you get inside the right meeting. So what I want you to do is close your meeting by hanging up. We're now going to go in the My and click on Calendar. You see the calendar? Now, if you're invited properly, turn off Florida's mic. You should see two little meetings side by side. Do you? If you only see one, then someone didn't get the button. So, here's what we're going to do, and that'll help everyone. I want you to find Teacher B's name. That could be your own name. And go into Teacher B's meeting. Now, who's going to help? Yes. You get them. First disconnected, so that's why. Yeah, go ahead and join that. She does too. I think we're coming to water. I was at it, right? No, they're not yet, but I.
Now, with all the kids
This way. Who's holding me right now? Okay, you're gonna have some Terry. Terry, so Terry, what do you want to do that? Yeah, I'm sure. My kids come up here. For the activity, I think we're having a little internet
Sorry, you guys both on Rachel. Is she in a little box like on top? On the bottom?
Yes. Yeah.
And Zoom they were all, yeah, I just wondered what it looked like. I do not like seeing myself. You did that? Oh, I got it sorted out. Where'd you go? Oh.
Okay, let me show you some things in your meeting. All mics off, just so we cannot connect. Now, when you're in the meeting, I want you to, you're both teachers, so you'll have rights to do everything. Students won't have as many rights. Let me explain. First of all, how she has this set up is students will not be able to enter the meeting until you open. So we don't have students just hanging out in there by themselves. Not a good plan. Got it? So now make sure then you're on time. So that's important. Best practice, I open the meeting 15 minutes before I'm supposed to. And a lot of times students and parents have questions during that time. So to me, it's very valuable. Got it? Now, let's say we're in the meeting. I want to show you what some of the tools do. Does everybody see this floating toolbar? Everybody sees the floating one? Of course, video camera on and off. Of course, microphone on and off. I want everyone, though, to go to these 3 dots before I show you anything else. 3 dots, please. It's called the ellipsis. I want to first show you how you can turn off incoming video. If something goes wrong, like that mother walking across the screen, I could not find this button quick enough. So that's important to know about. Now, based on how you have it set up, it turns out if you install it, you have a little bit different rights, but some of you may see turn on live captions. If you have an installed version, I don't know how this goes. Turn on live captions, who has that? Turn it on if you do. Here's what that does. Go ahead and turn it on. Talk to your computer, say good morning.
Good morning.
We have to have
Oh, you gotta turn on your microphone to do that. Good morning. The 3 dots. Are you using your phone or the browser?
Good morning.
Okay.
I'm saying good morning and it's putting good money. I don't know.
Guys, part of the closed captioning problem will, of course, be these. I'll keep them on. But at home, this wouldn't be typically the issue. So that'll be nice. Now, here's what I do in a typical class. I start the class with everybody's little video showing up. Set by default, you will see 9, right now we have it set at 16 students will come up, but they're adding a new feature that'll be 7 by 7. You'll be able to see 49 faces. Most of us don't have that many, but if you combine classes into an event, that's pretty cool. That means they're all there, but that's how many faces you can see. So that is a feature here. This, you have to be using, let me go ahead and use that, the installed version to get these live captions right here. Why? It needs the power of your machine and it doesn't want to type the internet doing the captions. The students can turn on their own captions if they have it installed, but once you share your screen in a moment, then they'll be able to see your live captions on the bottom of your screen. Make sense? Why would this help our students who are beginning to read to see everything written out? Anyone who ever moves to a different country says the way they learn that language best is to watch closed captions. So it does help. Now, let me show you some other things in here. If you're installed right now, you should see something called Show Background Effects. Again, just for our installed people. these are the different backgrounds I can pick, and you can upload your own. So what I've been doing, if I'm teaching a little first grade lesson on science, I'll find a really cool background image of SpongeBob's laboratory. Maybe not SpongeBob, he's a little off. But you know what I mean? Something really cool background. Well, I teach that class. How do I do it? I click these 3 dots on the install version. You're starting to see the install version is better. Miss Amy can help you get the installed version later, but this would help, and it's under Show Background Effects. I want to show you, if I want to look very academic while I'm presenting, everybody look up here. My best friend has this beautiful library, so when I was at his house, I took a picture. I now use his background. Makes me look very academic. But you can have, now let's talk about if you have a student who is hearing impaired and there's going to be any kind of sign language or closed captioning. I don't want this background. Does anyone know why? Too much going on. If you have someone who's going to need sign language, this is the kind of background I want. You see that plain white, plain gray, something along those lines. Make sense? So you can have a little, what else is important? Everybody click the 3 dots again. I'm already recording this meeting, just in case. You all see the start recording button. Go ahead and turn it on. Students will not have the capability of recording. So you need to share the recording with them. Why? I think you get it. So that's not their material. I do not start recording a class until we officially start. Don't record the questions that parents might have ahead of time. That wouldn't be cool. And then what I do is I say at the end of the class, if anybody has questions, see me at the end of class. I turn off the recording and then work with them one-on-one. So this recording is automatically going to email you 20, 30 minutes after you're done. Why? It's processing it. And it provides you with what we call a Microsoft Stream. What do you think stream? What do we call YouTube? It is a streaming video. So you're getting the stream of the video. Not to get too technical today, but Microsoft Stream, that video can be edited by the teacher. Like I wanted to record that Monday class for the students who couldn't make it. Guess what I went and edited out? Okay? So just cut out that little piece, kept going. So it can be done. Okay, so we know how to do this. Let me show you some other important pieces. I want you now on this floating toolbar, I want everyone to raise your hand. Do you see the little hand button? When you've got 21 students in here and one of them has a question, this will show their hand raised. Let me show you, it'll show on their video, but I'll show you another place to get it. I also now want you to go to these 2 little people. These are the show participants. You can now see in your meeting whose hand is up. Does everybody see your little hand over here? And they can lower their hand after their question is taken care of by clicking on it, or you can actually lower it for them. So this way you can ask, try to get your class involved. Say, hey, everybody. A lot of times I'll get the students to do things as we're doing together. If I ask the students, okay, what number am I holding up? They can go up. I can have flashcards. I can show things, and they can answer by typing, say, a 3 or holding up 3 fingers. Let me show you how they can chat as well. Go back to your floating toolbar right before show participants. There's a talk bubble for show conversation. And in your show conversation, I want you just to type hi or have a good day to your partner here. And look down here again. Do we have some of the same capabilities that we have before? Now, if I put directions over here, like bring your art supplies. If I type in bring your art supplies and they're in kindergarten and can't read that, how would they read this? Help me out. See if it's there. See if you're immersive reader. See, how do we do that? You click on the message. You get the 3 dots. Look for near the bottom, immersive reader. Does it work even here? Yeah. Pretty cool? And do you want a quick little fun, since you guys all have Surface Pros, try this. Everyone click down here in your chat message. We're going to hold down 2 keys at the same time on our keyboard. I want you to hold down the flying Windows key. See what's that? It's right between Function and Alt on the bottom row. And also hold down the period. Windows, period. When you click down there, what does that do? Emojis. And here's what's really cool about these emojis. So I'm hitting Windows, period. Everybody getting this? And if I start to type in the word wave, like you're waving at someone, what is this? Can anyone tell me?
Oh, changes the skin color.
It changes the skin color to be inclusive of everyone. In the past, we see like 5 emojis with skin color. But now we can wave it and have that difference. I love that we can do that. Okay, what do you guys think so far of your little meeting? Some other best practices? Yes, question.
Is there a time limit that I'm recording my next phone call?
I think we're limited to 10,000 hours at one setting.
Shelley, you making that long?
I don't think so.
A couple other limits, if you're curious. Teams allows 250 people to be in a team, but they also have something called a live meeting, and you're allowed 20,000 people at once. So I think we're going to be okay with the limits. Yes.
They should be able to add the phrase up now.
Say it one time.
They should be able to add the phrase up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you have praise now. So let's see if it's here. Thank you for doing that. Amy, you're the bomb. Hey, if you click these 3 dots at the bottom, do you now see praise? Let's give a student praise during class. Give your partner some praise, but use their name with the praise. Help your partner. We're clicking in the message. We're clicking on the 3 little dots and finding praise. It's not showing up, but everybody, when we restart the next round, we'll get it back. So we will get it back. But it will look like this. You'll select a badge and you can put a personalized message like, Amy, you're the bomb. So something along those lines. So that'll show up next time round for you. Okay. Questions before? So what can we do during a class meeting? I think we all have the tendency just to do what I'm sadly doing, lecturing. But this is where students could share their thoughts. They could read to us. And it doesn't have to be an entire class meeting. It could be, what I try to do in all my classes is find 5 or 10 minutes every week to actually have a one-on-one time with a student to check in on how they're doing, so that it doesn't always have to be this big class. Next, we're going to share our screen. And that's going to be very often that we do that, right? We want to share with what's happening. So everyone, back to the floating toolbar. Yours is going to look a little different since I'm already sharing my screen. On your floating toolbar, look for a square that has an up arrow, like you're uploading your screen. Now, only one of you can share your screen at a time. So we're going to share screen person B. So B person, you're going to share your screen, but A person, look on how they're doing it. Let me share with you what happens when you hit share screen. Everybody, what happens next is you're going to see something called a screen tray. The screen tray is a little screenshot of every open screen you have. If you want them to see anything on your computer, you would hit the very first option, which says desktop. If you don't want them to see whatever you open, you just want them to see this one Reading Rabbit webpage, you could just pick that screen that you already have open. See what I'm seeing it? Now, you also should see, if you have it installed, a whiteboard. What could you do with a whiteboard in your class? Draw, let them draw, put all these images on. So you have these options. Go ahead and share your desktop with your neighbor.
Yeah, like this one's just to see like a current
Let me just show you again a couple items. Everybody look this way. What if you click here when you share, what happens? You see everything that the teacher opens. How about if I just pick this one? It would only show that screen, let's say Word or something I had open. What happens if I share this? They see a whiteboard, and you could draw, open it up, let everyone draw collectively. They could share, how do you make it a letter A? How do you make a letter B? All these type things here. So these are, now here's one other very important point. If you want them to hear the sound on your computer, I love to start a class with age-appropriate music. So if you want the wheels on the bus, oh, I can't hear it again, but wheels on the bus, and you're going to have that on your computer, make sure you include system audio so they will hear whatever you're playing. If the website you're going to show in class today reads to them, they're going to need to hear system audio and not only see it, but hear what your computer is doing. Does that make sense? Okay. Let's go ahead and hang up on our call.